Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'm going to show you how to create a Python repository, but this time I'm not going to take a lot of time. I am going to simply create the most basic Python repository that you can imagine. So I'm not going to make use of a lot of different classes and objects and all, and I'm also trying to reduce the video timings. So this video is going to be shorter for sure, I'm going to promise that one. And for today's video I'm going to create Python repository based out of this particular notebook that you see on the screen. Okay, so this is a notebook that one of my friend has sent me, and it has been written in not the most optimal way, so we are also going to optimize the code on the way. But I don't want to deep dive into the particular action that we are doing inside of this code. So I'm just going to show you a quick overview of what it does. It's basically an assignment, and it's got three different parts. So this is a pre-phase. So this assignment is completely related on TF-IDF vectors. So this is a piece of code that we have that is taking a bunch of stop words and writing them into this particular file. Okay, we have the comments here explaining what they do, and now comes the assignment part. Okay, so here we are importing some of the necessary libraries, and also here we got some utility functions. Cool. Okay, seems like some of the code is incomplete yet. Okay, if I go down, there you go. So every single task has more subtasks. Okay, so there are 3 tasks in total, 1, 2 and 3, and each one of them has got 3 more subtasks. So 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 3.1, 3.2 and 3.3, and we are going to create 3 different Python files for each of these tasks. Okay, so to give you a quick understanding of how it is structured, I think this part must be clear by now. So we've got utility functions here and some importing of the libraries here. So if I scroll down, yeah, here you can see every first subtask takes one function. For this particular subtask we needed this particular class as well, so we have defined it here, but in general for all these different tasks we need a function. We have a function in the first subtask, the same thing in the second subtask as well. So the second subtask also has a function, and in third subtask we are going to make use of both of these functions inside of one more function called main, and this pattern is going to repeat across all the 3 different tasks. Now if I go to 2.1, I've got a function here, mydf. 2.2, I've got one more function here, mytf-idf. 2.3, I've got a main function, and here I'm using mytf-idf, and also where is mydf? Yeah, there you go, mydf. But if you notice here, this function has been created from 1.1. Okay, so I'm borrowing it from 1.1 and I'm reusing it here. So parse rc v1 v2. If I scroll up, this is where I have parse rc1 v1 v2. Okay, so the same pattern is going to repeat again for third task. So one function for 3.1, one function for 3.2, and in 3.3 I've got main, inside of which I'm calling my functions that I've defined in the previous tasks. Okay, so this is from 2.1 or assignment, this is from question number 2 I believe, and this should be from 1.1. This is what we defined in 3.2, and again both of the 3.1 and 2 are residing inside of the main function. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And for all of these different tasks we don't have any print statement inside of the first and second subtask. Oh, we do, but apparently we are not supposed to have them. So I'm going to modify this and optimize this so that all of these print statements will sit inside of our main functions, and we are also going to get rid of all of these print statements from here, because we are not only supposed to print them but also write them to a file. If I scroll to 1.3, that's where everything has been done in a proper way. Yeah, here you can see file name is equal to your full name q1.txt, and I'm doing this one, and then yeah, this is where I'm opening the file, and whatever I'm printing is also being written to that file. You can observe the same thing here. I'm printing the heading and I'm writing that heading. So I'm printing this part but I'm not writing it. I'm printing this but I'm not writing it. So there is a lot of inconsistency and a lot of pending stuff here, and also the nomenclature seems to be following camel case in some areas and snake case in some areas. That's not usually a preferable way, so we are going to fix that as well. And also I can see that there is a lot of hard coding everywhere, so all of this hard coding is going to go inside of a config file. Config, I'm going to use a simple Python file for now to keep things to the most simplistic way, but if you're doing it in a professional way, I definitely recommend you to go with the YAML file. And I don't see anything else here to optimize, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first thing first, let's create a repository. Right now I've got this notebook open on my desktop itself, so let's create a folder here. Okay, open this. Okay, now what are all the different things that I need? Let's open it, and I'm going to create all of the folders manually. But if you create a professional Python repository, then you have to go with a template.py, and you can watch the whole video, the entire unit Python repository video, to understand what is the use of template.py and how do we create it, how do we use it, and how do we modify it. But for now, let's go ahead and create the folders manually. The first thing that I need is a dataset folder. Next thing is source. Actually, you know what, I'm just going to use src for now. Output, you can also call this as input. We've got input, source, and output, and also a rough folder. This is where I'm going to store this part. And yeah, this is going to be my input. Let's take this, throw it in there, and yeah, that should be pretty much it for now. Here I'm going to create something called config. Oh, actually, you know what, let's create it outside. Okay, I'll just put it here. So my src folder is going to contain a lot of different files which will make use of the config file, which will import everything from config. Okay, yeah, let's open this. Okay, it's already open. Of course you trust me, why won't you? Where did I put this? Rough, yep. Okay, open up. So the first thing that we're going to create is config file. I'm going to take a .py, Control S, or in my case it's Command S. config.py. Let's put it this side, close this guy, open the notebook. Okay, now let's get rid of all the different hard coding that we've got, except for this one. This entire block of cell is something that we're not going to use over and over again. So this is a one-time use. So I'm going to create a different independent .py file for this whole cell. So let's ignore this one. Okay, coming to this part, nothing here. I don't see anything here as well. Okay, file name. Okay, now just duplicate this. 3, 2, 2 and 3. Next we've got heading. It's something that we can't put in a config. It has to be a string here. We can't replace any of these. Yes, I can get rid of this part. Copy this, come back here, and I'll say testing subject. Okay, so whatever string I had over there has been put here, and I'm going to make use of this query variable inside of this particular function calling. And also, if you see the main function, wherever I'm calling it, I'm always passing these two things, stopwords and input path. So let's see in 2.3, stopwords and input path, and even in 3.3, stopwords and input path. So let's take them from there and put them in the config. Let's not worry about the headings for now. Okay, where was I? Hard coding. Okay, no hard coding here, no hard coding there, nothing here. File name has already been handled. Okay, queries. Okay, let's take this whole thing, put it there, but we need to somehow differentiate both of these. I can't give such a similar variable names. Let's see when we get there. Okay, all of this has to remain the same. Yeah, nothing. Okay, so this is queries and this is query. Let's keep queries as it is, and let's see how we can modify query. Where am I using query? I am using it, I believe it should be 1.3. So I'm using it inside of main for parsing the query. Okay, for stopwords. Okay, so I'll say unparsed query. That should do it. And okay, so I guess that's pretty much it for our config file for now. Yeah, that's pretty much it for now. So let's save this. Now I'm going to create one more file where I'm going to store all of my utility functions. all of these, cut, come here, paste, save. Save this inside of src as utils.py. Save it. Done. Okay. Now let's close both of these. I'll create a new file, Python file again, split the screen, open this one here. Now comes my 1.1. I'm gonna take all of this, put it here, and then os.listdir. I need that library. Okay, import os. Okay, that has been resolved. So all the 4 functions that we see with the yellow line here, they are from utilities. So from, oh wait, before I do that, let me save this somewhere so that I know from where am I going to reference my utils. Okay, so inside of src I've got my utils, but this is going to be my question, so I'm going to put it here as q1.py. Save it. Okay, now since this thing is outside and my utils is inside of src, I'll say src.utils import get underscore term frequency. There you go. Similarly, I'm going to import all of these. Okay, all done. I'm going to remove this. This is 1.1. So this is a very useful thing that you will find whenever you are debugging the code or separate different blocks of code. Okay, both are equal. 1.1. Now I'm going to use the same thing for 1.2. Take the whole thing, paste it here, and now the same thing for 1.3. There shouldn't be more than one line of space between function to function or code block to code block. This is 1.3. Now I've got my main here. Okay, let's expand this a little bit. Okay, it looks somewhat organized. Now let's try to optimize the code here. So the first thing that I notice is this part. It's very ugly, very ugly. File name, your file name.txt, if path.exist of file name os.remove. Okay, so basically we are taking the file name and we are storing it in a variable and we are checking if that already exists. If it does, then we are going to delete it. This is probably being done because we don't want to append. Yeah, there you go. So the file mode that we have here is append. So every time you write something, it's going to append it to the original file. So let's say if I run the q1.py 10 times, all these lines will be added 10 times. And if I run it on the 11th time, I'm still going to have the same file, but a new line is going to be appended. So I don't want that to happen. So whenever I run the file, whenever I run my q1.py, all of the print statements should be saved, and whenever I'm rerunning q1.py, all of my print statements should be overwriting the previous file. So my previous file should be overwritten by new file. So what's an alternative way to do that? So if you look at what essentially we are doing is, we are simply using logging functionality. In the full tutorial, link will be in the description. In the full tutorial, I've shown you how exactly we can use logger, but since we're trying to keep things simple here, I'm just going to create a different class. We are going to create our own logger. Okay, I'll put utils here. Come on. Okay. Let's create a class called logger. So whenever I'm initializing the logger, it should take file name. It's not going to return anything. Self.file name equal to file name, and if that file already exists, delete it. Yeah, you can do this part, and then let's create one more function called actually let's use call function. So whenever I'm calling this function, I'm going to pass a message, and this message will be printed to the console first, and then I'm going to write it to my file. I'm going to use this piece of code to open the file as append mode. Take this part, write it here. This is going to be self.file name. This is going to be message. Okay. And also this is not the best way to call main method. Okay. Oh, it's already 12 a.m. Okay. Just give me a second. So how do we make use of call function? It's pretty simple, honestly. From log, this is in utils, right? So src.utils import logger, and I'll say log is equal to logger of file name q1.txt. so this is going to be my output file name. So whenever I create an object, this function is going to be called automatically, and whatever I pass in here will go into file name, and self.file name is going to become a property, and then it's going to check if that file already exists. If it does, then it's going to delete that file. Okay, now okay, so here we have a problem. Since we are using append method, whenever I call this, it's simply going to append it, but if there is no file at all, then it can't append it properly. It can't append it at all, so it needs a file. So what I'm going to do is, I'll take this, I'll pass it here, don't write anything, or you know what, actually I can just say pass Don't do anything, just open it and then close. Right now. Yep, this should do it. So this is going to create that file, and since I have it inside of my init function, the moment I create an object, it's going to delete an existing one and it's going to create a new one. And whenever I call this logger, it's automatically going to print it as well as add that message to the text file. So how do we use the call function? Simply just put a bracket. So it's my message. That's all. So this string value is going to go as message, and the message will be printed first and then it will be saved to the text file. Cool. Let's take it from here, put it at the top. Oh, we already have this part. Okay. Now comes config. So I need to import both of these things and also the file name. So let's import them from config.config, because again it is sitting inside of config folder. So config.config import, what did I give as the variable name? File name q1. Let's import that. Stop words, let's import that. Input path, let's import that as well. Okay, so automatically both of these will go away because I'm already importing them from a different file. And this part, this entire part will go away. Let me resize it a little bit here. Let's not print this. Let's not open it here. Let's not write anything. No printing, no writing. We need to print this one. Indentation, print heading. Okay. Cool. Since we are importing the file name here, let's take it and use it here. Cool. Now I'll take this and, oh sorry, my bad, scroll down. Okay, let's rearrange all of this, and if name equal to main, this should be in string don't log anything for now. Okay, cool. So I've got my file name here and my logger here. Log, instead of printing, now I'm going to log it. Same thing here. Okay. Now one good practice that we should always follow is, instead of using all such kind of messy variable names, let's go with message. Log this message. Let's give some space here. This is also going to be message. This is also going to be a message. This will sit inside of a message, which will then be logged. Okay. Now, whenever somebody is going to look at it, they'll clearly understand what we are doing. First, we are taking this function, we are sending something to that function, whatever output we get out of that, we are doing all of these different magic, and we are logging this message, we are logging this message, and then we are parsing it, and that's the end of first assignment. So let's get rid of this hard coding here. Okay. We don't have any hard coding in first and second tasks. Oh, we do. Okay. Print query. Okay, so basically we have something called as parse query. So instead of the parse query, we are printing it before parsing, and then we are printing it after parsing here. You see how ugly this is? So if we are printing it before and after, both the before and after parts should be printed either inside of the function or outside of the function. But here you can see the before part is inside of the function and the after part is outside of the function. That's bad coding. Let's get rid of this from here. Actually, so I'll say unparsed query. Is equal to we were already importing it, right? Okay. Import it from config, and here I'll say message is equal to and here I'm going to say before parsing. Let's copy the same part, paste it here, and here I'll say after parsing. Let's use the full word. See how hard was that? Okay, output saved to this part. This is my before query after parsing. This is my after query after parsing message. Okay, let's take this and pass directly. Let's get rid of the extra line spaces. We are importing the file name here, so I'm going to replace this, and here I'll say file name equal to okay, you can get away from here. there's no reason for us to have those extra spaces because there are no comments indicating the differences between all these different code sections. So I'm just getting rid of the extra spaces. But let's say if you do know what is the difference between this code block and these two lines and this one line, then you can simply or you can say like a heading. But since we don't know what exactly is the difference, I'm going to combine all of them together. That is 1.1, this is 1.2, here we got 1.3. Cool. So I don't see any other way we can optimize this further. So okay, yeah, let's leave it at this point. Save it. Now I'm going to do the same thing for question number 2. New file, Python file. Let's go here. Copy all of this, paste it here. Copy all of this, paste it here. My libraries will go at the very top. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it for question 2. So now let's make use of all the different things that we used here. First things first, sections or subtasks. This is unnecessary extra space. This is 2.2, 2.1, 2.3. There doesn't seem to be any kind of hard coding that I can get rid of here. I need to import the libraries. I need to import this part from the config. Instead of Q1, this is going to be Q2. I'm not gonna use this one here. We can get rid of this. And also this. And also this. Unnecessary print statement. This will also go away. Okay, logger, file name is going to be Q2. Let's import logger from src.utils import logger. And also I need this particular function from Q1. So I'm going to say from Q1 import parse this. What else? Do I need anything else from utilities? Nope, only the logger will do. Okay, cool. Do we have any print statements? Nothing in this, nothing in this. Okay, just give me a second here. Why am I doing this? For term, comma, frequency. So the reason why this caught my eye is because we are using two for loops. It's never suggestible to use two for loops. Collection dictionaries from one object frequency dot items is going to give me term and its frequency. df is my document frequency. If it is already present in df, then take that. If not, take 0. I don't need this thing then. So here I'm basically taking the first element. If I get rid of that, I can get rid of this as well. And for each one of them, I'm taking dot items. Collection dictionary is going to give me my term frequencies. Which is going to be TF. Okay, let's get back to this later. Or actually, just give me a second. Let's optimize this here itself. So x dot terms for collection in values. So what is terms? Terms is the get term frequency. Okay, so this is going to be a dictionary. I know that part because I've seen it here in utils. So dot terms is going to give me a dictionary. So this is going to be a list of dictionaries, bunch of dictionaries. So for each of those dictionaries, I'm taking the dot items. Okay, why should I use two for loops for that? I don't have to. Out of all these dictionaries, I'm iterating through each of them and I'm taking the term frequency. Let's call it as TF. And then I'm taking the term and its frequency. But this is only going to run just once. How can I optimize this? Okay, 2.1 is pretty much optimized to its fullest, I guess. 2.2, okay, yeah, nothing much here. We are taking the TF-IDF values, TF-IDF weights. Instead of heading, this is going to become message, and I'm going to log message. Descending order. Get rid of this part. This should be outside because I need to log all of the weights even if they are below 20 items, and if they are more than 20, if there are more than 20 terms, then I need to shortlist it to 20. Why do I have to put it here then? Cut. Paste. There you go, done. So whenever somebody is reading this particular function, they'll understand all the different things that we are doing with respect to the TF-IDF weights dictionary. So I'm adding all of the items here to the dictionary, and then I'm sorting it, and then I'm taking the top 20 and I'm returning that list. I don't need this. This is going to be message. So here I need to print all the terms that are present inside of the document. There you go. So this is always going to be 20. So I can use the length of df to find out how many terms that I've got inside of the document, and out of those only top 20 will be printed. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the main function. That's pretty easy. So the weights, you can remove this top 20 here, and I'll say there you go, done. Okay, now let's save this. Oh, I realize I haven't even saved it yet. Okay. This is going to be outside of src, and it's going to be called q2.py. Okay, now it's time for q3. Python same old 3.1. Here comes 3.2. Finally the main function. I did put this one, yeah. Copy it, come back here, let's open q2 here. Okay, this is my q3. Replace, this will become 3. Let's import all of these from config. Question, path. This is going to be question number 3, and also I need my logger. From q1 import this function, from q2 import this function, and from config I'm also going to import queries, so I can get rid of this. Printing inside of this utility function, not a good idea, so let's take it out of this. Where am I using it? Here. Okay, if that is the case, let's return this value directly. Result call average. Okay, I'm not using the doc object here, so let's replace that with an underscore for memory optimization. Okay, so both of these seem to be clear. Now we've got main. Okay, let's log the message. These are my scores, my query. The following are the BM25 score of each document. There are two back-to-back print statements. So what I'm going to do here is, let's combine them and take it to a new line. This is going to be my message. Let's log the message. Same thing here. Log my message. For query queue, the top 6 possible relevant documents are all of these. Okay. Okay, this seems to be an organized way. This is also going to, oh, okay, I can't pass it like this. So let's convert the whole thing into a string. Let's make use of f strings. Instead of /n, let's use /t. This is going to be message. I'm going to log that message. Cool. Do we have anything else to do here? For this collection, there seems to be no additional hard coding anywhere. Oh yeah, the numbering. This is 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. Okay, save as Q3. Okay, this is done. This is also done. Let's go into utilities. I guess that's all right. Yeah. So one thing that is pending is the stop words. Okay. I'll take all of this. New file. Python. Paste it here. Control S. You can set inside of src. Your name is going to be create stop words. Yep. So I think we are almost done. So I'm going to quickly just check if everything is working fine. First I need to check from config. So this is going to be stopwatch.txt, so it's going to be sitting instead of src, so it will be src slash stopwatch.txt. Save it, and the output should sit inside of the output folder, output slash file name q3.txt. Okay, I don't need the extra space over there. For now I'm going to remove this heading, it's not the most appropriate one. Okay, save it. Okay, config seems to be in good shape. I've got all of my input here. Ooh, this is going to be input. Save. My output is also in a good shape. Rough, nothing in there. src, both are in good shape. Yeah, so let's go ahead and test. So to test it, first I need to create the stopwords file. So I'll say cd spaces or not necessary, I guess. Python -b src slash create stopwords.py. Okay, let's refresh. Okay, it got created here. Yeah, that makes sense because I'm running it from outside. Stopwords.txt, yes, it's as expected. Now comes q1. So the reason why I'm using -b is because if I don't use that, it's going to create this unnecessary py cache. Okay, seems like everything is getting executed and printed to the terminal without any errors. That's a good thing, but I don't want to see all of this while I'm testing. So I'll go to utilities. So whenever I'm creating this logger, along with file name, I'll say print to terminal. So this is going to be a boolean. I'll use this name. If self dot print it, or print bool, or why do I even have to use that? I can use the same variable name. Okay, let's keep it less confusing. Save it here. This is a mandatory thing, so I'll go to all the questions. My file name is going to be this, and print to terminal is going to be false. Copy this, go into q2, paste, go into q3, paste. This is 3, this is 2. Close, 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 close. Clear my screen. q1.py. There you go. Now in output I should have, yeah, there you go. Oh, I remember this part. So this goes into utils. Where am I cleaning? Where am I cleaning? Processing my text. What's and length of x greater than 1. Save it. Run this again. There you go, it went away. Okay, I don't see any particular division between the end of one document to the other document. So what I'm going to do is, let's go into Q1. This is my heading, so I'll say /n/n/n. So for every document, add 3 blank lines. Done. Okay, there you go. There you go. This is much more neat. Let's do the same thing for the remaining questions as well. Why not? Here is my main. This is where it starts. 3/n's Q3. Further collection is this, the query. For each query, I'm printing the document length, blah blah blah. For query, the top 6 possible relevant documents are. Let's give 1 line here. Or actually, you know what? I'll just simply use this trick. Let's go with 30. Okay. Q2, Q3. Oh, Q3 was fast. Yeah, this looks cool. Q3. Oh, okay. After this, I need a new line. There you go. Now it looks somewhat better. Cool. Okay, now the only part that is pending is nomenclature. The nomenclature in this entire repository is terrible. Let's go fix it. First thing, we need to make use of either snake case or camel case. In Python, it's always preferable to go with snake case instead of camel case. So Control F, go here, RCV1 doc, replace them all. But honestly, this doesn't make much sense, so I'm going to call this as document objects. Object. Or let's go with the short form, document obj. Okay, we fixed that part. Document ID, Control F, doc ID, replace it. File name, terms, news.xml, get term frequency, document length, terms. Okay, terms doesn't seem like the best thing. Okay, I'm going to call this as term frequency. I have the document length here, parse rcb1v2. Here I'm taking my stop words and input path. Oh boy. If I change it here, I'm going to have to change this in the rest of the two files as well, because I'm using this function in both of them. But yeah, we have to do it. There's no other escape. I'm going to call it as parse documents list dir os path join input underscore path. File underscore name, file underscore path, text element. What do you mean by this? This is an XML element to list, and then after processing it, we have it as text, document object, file name, and text. Text is my terms, right? So why am I calling it as text? Let's call it as terms. These are my terms. Text. Let's call it as oh no, XML element to list. This is going to be a list, right? Okay. Then I can still use it as terms, because this is going to return me a list of all the different terms. So terms process text. Okay, this is going to become terms document object, text object, I'll call it as doc obj. Copy that. No, don't. Document ID, data, document ID is called document object. Yeah, this makes much more sense to me. Query 0. Why do I have a 0? Stop words, process text, get term frequency. Cool. Collection, parse documents, stop words and input path. This is my collection. Collection.items, key, object. So each of these collection is going to return me doc object. Wait a second. Collection is equal to parse documents. Parse document is a dictionary. Doc ID is going to be my key, and the doc object is going to be my value. Term frequency is what I'm storing here. There is no dot terms anymore. It's dot term frequency is equal to term frequency. Document ID contains 60 terms and have total of length of term frequency. This will also be term frequency. and I'm printing all of them. This is clear. Yeah, no changes in this part. Okay, so question 1 seems to be good enough for me right now. Let's go to question 2. Hopefully we don't have to make a lot of changes. This thing will change into parse documents. My df, what am I doing here? My df is going to create me document frequency. Get document frequency. Where else am I using my df? Here. Parse documents will go here. I'll take the collection, I'll create my document frequency. I'll take the collection.items. Collection.items is always going to give me these two things. Doc is nothing but my document object. df. Let's replace this df with document freq. Doc underscore id. Okay, 2.3 seems to be good. Let's take a look at 2.2. For doc ndocs. What is ndocs here? Length of document frequency. If I am already passing it, then why do I need separate parameter for it? Let's take document frequency and replace it here as well. Here, here, here. This is going to be term frequency. Okay, numerator, denominator, term frequency, in term frequency dot items, doc. Instead of doc, this is going to be doc object. Doc object dot term dot frequency. Okay, so 2.2 also seems to be good enough. Let's go into 2.1. Collection dot values, collection dictionary. Yeah, this has to change. 1 2 3 4. Doc underscore frequency. Okay, Q2 is also good enough. Let's go into Q3. .1 average length. Oh, just a second. Get document frequency my tf-idf. Let's change that into get tf-idf weights. Get document frequency, get tf-idf weights. Yep, save it. Average length. Let's convert that into get average length. call. Okay, why did you give it as collection here and call as call here? It's going to be collection. Parse documents, this is going to become get document frequency. Get average length of this collection. Res, what can I give as res? Average length. Take it here, paste it here. Collection, collection dot items, collection dot items. Document ID, document object. Document ID. Top 6 items for query the top 6 relevant. Okay, if I'm giving the top 6 relevant documents, then why do I have to call it as items? Q, what is Q for query? Using a single alphabet is always a very ugly practice. Very, very ugly practice. Okay, let's use the same variable names here. This is going to be collection. Actually, you know what? Let's replace all of these as collection. Q is going to be my query. DF is the document frequency. For doc object, copy this, come here. Oh, come on, I don't want any documentation. Paste it. Doc length, doc object, average doc length divided by length of collection, doc ID. Now let's change the function names. My BM25, this is going to be get BM25 scores, get average length. Yeah, I've already changed it. Okie dokie. Okay, question 3 is also done. Okay, now let's reorder these things. They should always be in ascending order, if that makes sense. Okay, so this thing looks good enough for me. The only thing that is still pending and that I'm not going to touch today is comments. So for now I'm going to ignore the commenting part because we are not focusing more upon the working of the code. We are focused more on the usage or the structure of the repository. Document object has no term called terms. Oh yeah, it won't have that. Where did you find it? Question 2, line 8. Line number 8. This is actually going to be replaced with term free. I think that's what I used. Term free. Yeah. Term free here. Term free here. Q1 is working fine. Q3, Q2, Q1. Yeah, all the three are working fine. And no matter how many times I run these programs, it's always going to overwrite. Let's see. Yep, only once. PyCache, there you go. I just hate this PyCache. Delete it. Move to trash. Nothing instead of input, nothing instead of output, nothing instead of rough. SRC has PyCache. Delete it. I think it got created when I ran the stopwords.py. PyCache here. Config.py. Any more changes in this? Nope, it looks good enough. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. So I hope I was able to explain different techniques and different things that you need to keep in mind whenever you're trying to optimize a Python code into a repository. I hope this was useful to some extent. And if you have made it this far into the video, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.